Back in 2010, Universal Orlando first changed the theme park game with the Wizarding World of Harry Potter at Islands of Adventure. This was a fully immersive, that word has been used ever since, theme park land that made an on screen world accessible for fans and with a level of detail that previously only Disney had been known for. In the years that followed, Walt Disney World responded by opening its own roster of immersive lands, such as New Fantasyland at the Magic Kingdom, Pandora, the World of Avatar at Animal Kingdom, and Toy Story Land and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disney's Hollywood Studios. But fast forward to now, history is about to repeat itself with the opening of Universal's fourth theme park, Epic Universe, which isn't just offering another Harry Potter land, but an entire park dedicated to a whole lineup of distinct immersive theme park lands that are accessible via portals. The question is, how is Disney going to respond this time? In one of my latest videos, I broke down the nearly 14 new experiences coming to the Disney parks alone by 2027 and the nearly 24 coming by 2030. But after some further investigation and some careful combing through the language of Disney's announcements and press releases, I think Disney may be adopting a different strategy than Universal this time around, and in a way, I think that most of us missed. If true, this would make Hollywood Studios' Monsters Inc. land a bit of an anomaly in comparison to Disney's other upcoming projects, and it may be why, Muppets aside, this concept just isn't hitting with Disney park fans. Now, I should note that one of the reasons why we possibly miss Disney's new strategy is because we've been deliberately referring to many of Disney's upcoming projects completely wrong. For instance, Magic Kingdom's Cars Land is not Cars Land. I think most Disney junkies know that. I know I did. It's just easier to call it Cars Land. But in reality, it's just two Cars-themed attractions that are part of Magic Kingdom's redo of Frontierland. Disney even noted that these Cars attractions are not an extension of Radiator Springs, but take place somewhere else in the West to work with the Magic Kingdom's Frontierland theme. But other so-called lands aren't actually lands either, and this is kind of getting to my point. For instance, if you go back through Disney's D23 post about Disneyland's Pandora, the World of Avatar, Disney never refers to it as a land. It's only referred to as a destination, an experience, or an area. This trend of Disney calling new spaces areas, not lands, is something I notice elsewhere, including what we have been calling Disneyland Paris's Lion King land. In recapping D23 announcements, the Disney Parks blog only referred to it as an attraction, while social media announcements called it a themed area. No use of the word land anywhere. And when Disney uses a particular word over another, there's always a reason for that. And I think this choice to refer to these new projects as areas or destinations or whatever, not lands, is part of their new strategy in the wake of Epic Universe. Instead of Disney dedicating acres of real estate in a park to a single IP, I think Disney is looking to create little pockets of immersive experiences that connect to other similar properties or destinations. Animal Kingdom's Tropical Americas is the best example of this, and maybe Imagineering's blueprint for what's to come. So instead of an Encanto land or an Indiana Jones land, in this area, this land, you have two rides, two IPs, with a cohesive geographical and aesthetic theme that allows for multiple lines of merchandise, multiple character meet and greets, various themed food, as well as details and nods to other films and properties, such as in the case of that carousel, which is going to feature animals from a wide span of Disney films. This offers something for everyone within the same footprint, and it offers a wider umbrella that is likely to generate a higher turnover both in terms of guest and sales. Another example of this strategy and its success was Fantasy Springs Tokyo Disney Sea, which opened earlier in 2024. This land featured 3 different properties in one space: Peter Pan, Frozen, and Tangled. 3 different properties in one land, and they all flowed one into another, and they shared a similar outdoor water-based aesthetic. This is actually what I think Disneyland is planning to do with their Pandora World of Avatar area. I think Disneyland Forward will consist of multiple themed areas, including Pandora, that connect to each other with some sort of common thread or rockwork or water detail. I mean, Fantasy Springs was mentioned in the Disneyland Forward pitch, and it's still on the Disneyland Forward website. And Black Panther's Wakanda was spotted in that original Disneyland Forward artwork and could easily connect to Pandora via all of that rockwork and structure. Now, I know this strategy is not exactly a new concept. I mean, Disneyland and Magic Kingdom both have broad themed lands offering various IP and experiences and attractions within them. But I feel like Disney may be returning to its roots with this strategy, but now armed with the mission of immersion. But I know what you're thinking. This can't be true because Disney just announced a Villains Land and a Monsters Inc. land. So they are relying on lands based on one theme, and I hear you, but I have an answer for that too. Like Tropical Americas and like Fantasy Springs, Villains Land isn't based on a single villain or a single Disney film. It itself is an umbrella land housing various villains with their own tones, styles, stories, and so on. I know the same can somewhat be said of Universal's Dark Universe, but I would argue that Disney Villains Land will have more diversity of characters and styles than the classic Universal monsters. So really, Magic Kingdom's Villains Land is following the strategy I've been talking about. And that also brings me to Hollywood Studios' Monsters Inc. land, the outlier. Apart from the fact it's replacing Muppet Vision, Monsters Inc. land just isn't that anticipated because of the very reason I think Disney is shifting its strategy. It's only one IP. If you're not that into Monsters Inc., there's not much to be excited about. This land would have so much more appeal if it was a Pixar land, with a store themed to one Pixar film and a new show based on another and a restaurant similar to Disney California Adventure's Lamplight Lounge that manages to pull all the films in Pixar animation history together. I also think it would have a bit more appeal if it found some way to share the space with Muppets or maybe another Disney property with the same sort of theme or thread in common. I think Disney fans want the Monsters Inc. Door Vault coaster. I just don't think they feel they need any more monsters. So give them some variety. Give them another reason, another connection, another storyline, more characters to get on board with this change. The fact that Monsters Inc. land is different from what I'm again perceiving to be a potential strategy, coupled with the lack of fan enthusiasm for it, is actually why I'm wondering if it's going to stick after all. Now listen, I have no inside information on this. I haven't heard anything. This is just me speculating. But I do have to wonder just how last minute the decision was to announce Monstropolis at D23. And if what we've been told is happening could change between now and then, especially if it's out of step with what Imagineering is doing everywhere else. Just something to think about, something to keep an eye on. But what do you think? Moving forward with Disney's newly announced projects, are they doing the opposite of Universal in steering clear of lands dedicated to one property, and in some cases, lands altogether? I'd love to know your thoughts. Also, if you love Disney Park and Cruise Line news and analysis, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm a travel and entertainment reporter with a passion for the Disney parks, and with everything Disney has in the pipeline, it's an amazing time to be covering the parks and experiences, and I'd love to have you along to keep you updated. But regardless, thanks for taking the time to watch today. I so appreciate it, and I hope you have a magical day.